Hearing this, old Master Yang's eyes lit up. Then, he felt something was off. Miss Mu. Shiyu, you're mistaken. The person I'm looking for is Little Miracle Dr. Yi. Little Miracle Dr. Yi's surname is Yi. Song Shiyu explained that Miss Mu said her surname was Yi before she was 18. Old Master Yang nodded slightly. I see. Then where is Little Miracle Dr. Yi now? She's outside. Quick, invite her in. Old Master Yang immediately stood up. Song Shiyu nodded slightly and turned to walk outside. Old Master Yang also followed. Old Lady Song was curious about what the divine doctor Old Master Yang mentioned looked like, so she followed them out. Mu Yorong stood outside. When she saw them come out of the room, she was extremely excited and prepared to accept Old Master Yang's most sincere gratitude. After receiving Old Master Yang's thanks, she could upgrade the system. After the system upgrade, not only could she activate her max-level chess skill, but she could also activate her max-level beauty skill. At that time, what would Zhuo be? She would be able to crush her easily. However, Old Master Yang didn't seem to see her. He looked at Song Shiyu and asked curiously, Shiyu, didn't you say Little Miracle Dr. Yi is outside? Old Master Yang, this is Miss Yi. Mu Yorong straightened her back and a fitting smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Old Master Yang, we meet again. Old Lady Song looked at Mu Yorong. She thought to herself. Her guess was indeed correct. The little girl in front of her looked to be about 18 or 19 years old. Her skin was slightly yellowish and her facial features were very well defined. However, they were merely well defined and had nothing to do with beauty. However, it was remarkable for her to possess such divine medical skills. Chapter 116. Beauty is for looking at. Medical skills are for saving people. Comparing the two, medical skills are more important. Old Master Yang frowned. The Little Miracle Dr. Yi I'm looking for isn't her. The smile on Mu Yorong's face froze at the corner of her mouth. If the Little Miracle Dr. Yi isn't her, then who else could it be? Besides her, who else could have the ability to bring the dead back to life? Was Old Master Yang muddle-headed? He actually didn't even recognize his own savior. Old Master Yang, Mu Yorong continued, have you forgotten? I am the successor of the divine Dr. Hua Tua. It was my ancestral spirit medicine that cured your illness. If it weren't for her, Old Master Yang would have died long ago. This damned old man was so ungrateful. Not only did he not know how to be grateful, but he had even forgotten about her, his life-saving benefactor. Mu Yorong felt a surge of blood in her heart. She was almost disgusted to death by Old Master Yang. A life-saving grace was greater than the heavens. Yet this old man had actually forgotten about her. Old Master Yang repeatedly waved his hand. I remember you. Your surname is Mu, but I did not take the 3-nil pill you gave me. My illness was cured by Little Miracle Dr. Yi. After saying this, Old Master Yang ignored Mu Yorong's expression and turned to look at Song Shiyu. Shiyu. I'm looking for Little Miracle Dr. Yi. Little Miracle Dr. Yi is a very good-looking young lady. She's about this tall, a little shorter than you. Her skin is even whiter, reaching just past your shoulders. Old Master Yang recalled Yizhua's appearance as he described it to Song Shiyu. Mu Yorong was speechless. She was clearly the one who had cured Old Master Yang, but Old Master Yang refused to admit it. He even insisted on acknowledging someone else as his savior. Who could bear this? Old Master Yang, the person you're looking for really is me. Mu Yorong suppressed the anger in her heart. Although I'm old, I'm not blind yet. Old Master Yang said very impolitely, Fu Nian. Return this Miss Ye's pill to her. Sun Fu Nian hurriedly ran out of the room with a small wooden box in his hand. He opened the lid and said, Miss Mu, this medicine has always been kept for you. Now, it's returned to its rightful owner. Mu Yorong was stunned. This was her medicine, and she wouldn't mistake something taken out of the system. Old Master Yang actually hadn't taken her medicine. What was going on? If Old Master Yang hadn't taken her medicine, then who had cured Old Master Yang? Who had snatched away her credit? Mu Yorong held the medicine box and stood rooted to the spot. Her face was deathly pale, and her back was sweating profusely. She had thought she was the one who had cured old Master Yang. She never imagined it was all just a mistake. When she thought about how confidently she had just claimed to be old Master Yang's savior, Mu Yorong was so embarrassed she wished she could find a hole to hide in. What should she do now? Old Master Yang ignored Mu Yorong and looked at Song Shiyu. Shiyu, where is little miracle Dr. Yi? Take me to the front hall personally. There are many people in the front hall. Please wait here for a while, old Master Yang. After saying this, Song Shiyu quickly walked towards the front hall. Yi Zhuo was eating her fourth piece of cake. She was eating very seriously. It was just a piece of cake, but she treated it as a delicacy. People are most attractive when they are focused. It was no exception when eating. Hello, Miss Yi. My name is Qi Bin. May I have the pleasure of getting to know you? Yi Zhuo had just finished her cake when a pleasant male voice sounded in her ear. Hello. Yi Zhuo raised her eyes slightly, the color of the crystal light reflecting in her pupils. They were like mysterious obsidian, shining brightly. Qi Bin was momentarily stunned. Miss Yi, I heard the scenery in the back garden of the Song family is quite nice. Why don't we go out for a walk? Under the moonlight, amidst flowers, with a peerless beauty accompanying him. Just thinking about it felt romantic. Qi Bin was a true playboy. He had 4 or 5 girlfriends and many other women he slept with, but now, Qi Bin had a feeling that he would immediately sever all ties with those women and pursue the girl in front of him with the absurd idea of spending the rest of his life with her. Nothing else. It was all because this girl was too tempting. When he put the word beautiful to use, he felt the word beautiful was too pale. Thank you for your kindness, but I may not be so fortunate. Yi Zhuo's gaze passed over Qi Bin and landed ahead. I think Miss Wang, Miss Xiao, and Miss Sun over there would be more interested in going to the back garden with you to enjoy the scenery. Chapter 117. Yi Zhuo was very clear about the thoughts of people like Qi Bin. In the words of this era, he was like the Sea King. A scumbag who cast his net wide and flirted with many girls. Qi Bin did not expect to be rejected by Yi Zhuo. The Qi family's background was not bad, and Qi Bin was the only son in the family. He was doted on very much, and his monthly allowance was over 7 figures. He had been roaming among young ladies for so long, always invincible. This was the first time he had suffered a setback. What one can never obtain is always the best. Not only did Yi Zhuo's rejection not discourage Qi Bin, but it strengthened his desire to win her over. He would first win Yi Zhuo over. When he was tired of playing with her, he would ruthlessly discard her. Yi Zhuo was just the fake daughter of the Mu family. She had no status, no position, and no backing. It was Yi Zhuo's honor to be pursued by him. Perhaps Yi Zhuo was just playing hard to get. Otherwise, why would she suddenly mention Miss Xiao, Miss Wang, and Miss Sun? Wasn't this how women behaved when they were jealous? Yes. She was definitely jealous. Miss Yi, you've misunderstood. I'm not familiar with those people at all. Moreover, I'm single now. Qi Bin continued, Miss Yi, shall we add each other on WeChat? If there's time, let's have a deep exchange. The last sentence was too suggestive. Just you? Yi Zhuo raised an eyebrow slightly, the corners of her mouth curling into a faint smile. Are you qualified? Qi Bin frowned. Don't be so shameless. There was a significant difference in physique between men and women. No matter what, a woman would always be at a disadvantage. It wasn't as if Qi Bin had never forced himself on someone. You mean you want a one-on-one fight? Yi Zhuo put down the wine glass, her left hand gripping her right hand. She cracked her knuckles as she looked down at Qi Bin. Her eyes were filled with coldness. Her gaze was like looking at a clown. Qi Bin felt his male dignity had been provoked by Yi Zhuo. No woman had ever dared to talk to him like that. He reached out to forcefully grab Yi Zhuo. When Yi Zhuo was still with the Mu family, her reputation was already rotten to the core. Bin didn't think anyone would stand up for Zhuo at this banquet. Zhuo gently raised her hand. Just like that, she caught Bin's wrist. Actually, Zhuo preferred to use her feet rather than her hands. However, wearing a skirt today made it a bit inconvenient. Thud. Bin felt his entire body suddenly lose its gravity as he fell forward heavily. He landed on the ground in a sorry state, arms and legs splayed. The commotion over here was too loud and attracted everyone's attention. A grown man actually ended up in such a state. He was really too weak. Zhuo looked at Bin with a teasing glint in her eyes. Her tone was indifferent as she said, "Why is young Master Qi as weak as a woman?" As soon as she said this, the surroundings burst into laughter. Bin lay on the ground, his features scrunched up. As the crown prince of the Qi group, when had he ever lost face like this? He hadn't expected Zhuo's skills to be so good. Unfortunately, he could only grit his teeth and swallow his anger. It was already very embarrassing to begin with. If others found out that a grown man like him had been beaten into such a state by a little girl, where would he put his face? Bin endured the pain and crawled up, quickly escaping the banquet venue. Zhuo looked at his back and said in a light voice, "Young Master Qi, watch your step. Don't fall into the mud again." Song Shiyu stood to the side and witnessed the entire process. His beautiful pair of peach blossom eyes narrowed, the depths of his pitch-black eyes deep and unfathomable. A moment later, he walked to Zhuo's side. "Miss Yi. Mr. Song is looking for me." Song Shiyu nodded slightly. "Yes. Is something the matter?" Song Shiyu continued, "Old Master Yang is looking for you." Zhuo frowned slightly. "You didn't get the wrong person this time. I made a mistake just now." Song Shiyu's tone was gentle. "I hope Miss Yi doesn't mind." Zhuo continued to ask, "The Mr. Yang that Mr. Song mentioned, is that Mr. Yang from the capital?" "Yes." Song Shiyu was concise and made a "please" gesture. "Miss Yi, this way." Zhuo followed closely. Song Shiyu walked beside her and pointed the way. After leaving the front hall, they had to walk through an open-air path before reaching the back hall. It was currently the middle of winter, and although it didn't snow in Yunjing, the temperature was still very low. Song Shiyu instructed a servant to bring a down jacket for Zhuo to put on. "Thank you, Mr. Song," Zhuo continued, "but I'm wearing a suit that can adjust the temperature, so I don't need a down jacket." ZY technology? Song Shiyu seemed to recall something. Chapter 118. Zhuo nodded slightly. "Mr. Song, you know ZY as well?" "I've heard of it a little." ZY Technology Company was a newly emerging enterprise. Although it had only been established recently, it was extremely powerful. First, it applied for the world's first patent for temperature-adjustable clothing, then forcefully pushed the product into the market. Recently, ZY's CEO had extended an olive branch to him and proposed a collaboration. Previously, Song Shiyu hadn't taken it seriously, but now it seemed the cooperation could no longer be delayed. Each of them had their own thoughts as they walked together along the open-air path. Camellias were planted along the garden path, and fiery red blossoms nearly covered the entire walkway. The color of Zhuo's gown happened to echo the camellias perfectly. Under the cover of night, her face was partially hidden, faintly discernible. One couldn't help but wonder whether she was real, or merely an illusion born from the camellias. A cold wind blew gently, carrying the fragrance of camellias. Mixed within it was another faint, refreshing scent that lingered at the tip of the nose, especially pleasant. This fragrance didn't belong to the camellias. Song Shiyu was extremely sensitive to scents. He glanced sideways at Zhuo. She was looking straight ahead, her attention fixed on the path. In his life, Song Shiyu had only encountered two types of women. The first type fell in love with him at first sight. The second type feared him, like Mu Yorong. This was the first time he had met someone like Zhuo. Song Shiyu was very curious, was she born like this, or was her method simply too brilliant? At that moment, Zhuo suddenly felt a burning gaze on her. She lifted her eyes slightly. she saw Mu Yorong standing not far away. That gaze looked as though it wanted nothing more than to swallow her alive. Little slut. Mu Yorong had never imagined that the little divine Dr. Yi old Master Yang spoke of was actually Yizhuo. It was Yizhuo again. When they were young, Yizhuo had stolen her identity and occupied the magpie's nest, taking her rightful position. After the truth was finally revealed with great difficulty and she reclaimed her status as the eldest daughter of the Mu family, Yizhuo snatched away the glory that belonged to her in the chess world, forcing her to destroy her own system. And now, Yizhuo had stolen the favor that should have belonged to her, the credit for saving a life. She shouldn't have underestimated Yizhuo from the very beginning. She shouldn't have let Yizhuo go. She should have done what she did in her previous life. She should have trapped Yizhuo in the Mu family and tortured her mercilessly, then forced her to marry Song Shiyu and tortured her to death. Mu Yorong regretted it. She truly regretted it. But fortunately, she had already succeeded in letting Yizhuo meet Song Shiyu. With Song Shiyu, the demon of the human world, around, Yizhuo would die a miserable death. The corner of Yizhuo's lips curled up slightly as she calmly met Mu Yorong's gaze. Mu Yorong didn't expect Yizhuo to suddenly look at her. She hurriedly withdrew her gaze, lowered her head, and walked toward another exit. Soon, she arrived at the back hall. Compared to the brightly lit front hall, the back hall was much more deserted. Two old men, one tall and one short, stood outside the door. It's little miracle Dr. Yi. When old Master Yang saw Yizhuo, he excitedly stepped forward. Little miracle Dr. Yi. Old Master Yang. It really is you. Old Master Yang exclaimed. I've been looking for you for 3 whole days. Song Shiyu reminded him, Old Master Yang, it's getting late. Why don't you invite Miss Yi inside to talk? Yes, yes, yes. Old Master Yang quickly invited Yizhuo in. Earlier, old Madame Song hadn't seen Yizhuo clearly. But once she looked at her, she froze. This little girl was far too beautiful. Her medical skills were exceptional. And she was stunning. Old Madame Song looked at Song Shiyu standing nearby, then at Yizhuo again. Her eyes filled with satisfaction. A perfect match. They were perfectly suited to each other. She had never seen two people so compatible. Song Shiyu was 28 and Yizhuo was 18. Although there was a 10-year age gap, girls nowadays preferred men who were older. Older men gave a sense of security. Old Madame Song immediately took Yizhuo's hand. Little miracle doctor, I'm Song Shiyu's grandmother. I'm an old friend of old Master Yang. If you don't mind, you can call me Grandma Song. Grandma Song. AI. Old Madame Song responded with a smile. The Song family only had 3 generations. Her greatest regret in life was never having a granddaughter. Yizhuo perfectly fulfilled that longing. Old Madame Song hurriedly instructed the maid to bring the best tea and snacks that young girls liked. She was even more enthusiastic than old Master Yang. After all, one had to curry favor with the future granddaughter-in-law. Old Madame Song's health had been deteriorating recently. She was truly afraid that once she passed away, Song Shiyu would be left alone. That child had already suffered too much. For the rest of his life, she wanted him to live sweetly. Chapter 119. Grandfather Yang solemnly expressed his gratitude to Yizhuo and presented a document. Little miracle Dr. Yi, these are 30% of the shares of our Yang group. Please accept them. 30% of the shares might seem small, but in fact, it was a huge amount. The total assets of the Yang group were 100 billion. If converted, that was 3 billion. Furthermore, this 3 billion was only the current valuation. The annual profits of the Yang group were substantial. By giving 30% of the shares, Grandfather Yang was effectively giving away half of the Yang group. Yizhuo stood up from his chair and declined, Grandfather Yang, when I left your house that day, you already gave me a generous gift. I cannot accept these 30% of the shares. Little miracle Dr. Yi, you saved my life. You should accept these shares. Yizhuo smiled, Grandfather Yang, a doctor's duty is to save people. This is what I should do. You don't have to take it to heart. Grandfather Yang fell into thought, then said, although that may be true, the doctors had already declared my illness a death sentence. You were the one who snatched me back from the jaws of death. Last winter, those doctors told me I wouldn't survive this winter. Grandfather Yang, I'm still a student. Even if I accepted your shares, I wouldn't be able to manage the company. I know nothing about the brewing industry. Wouldn't it be a waste to give me your shares? So, you should take them back. The biggest liquor brand in China was the Yang family's. Since it's a gift, there's no reason to take it back, Grandfather Yang continued. I've already engaged a lawyer as a witness and completed all other procedures. Little miracle Dr. Yi, you must accept these shares. Grandfather Yang wasn't just making empty promises. After stating his intentions, he added, Little miracle Dr. Yi, don't worry about managing the company. My health is still quite good. As long as I'm alive, you won't need to concern yourself with company matters. Yang Danian was not a strong leader. Rather than waiting for him to die and see the company he worked hard for his entire life be divided by other branches, it was better to transfer 30% of the shares to Zhuo during his lifetime. Although he was giving away 30% of the shares, he still retained 70%, which remained in Yang Danian's control. Grandfather Yang trusted Zhuo's character deeply, believing that Zhuo would not harbor any malicious intentions. The other branches were different. They were a bunch of ungrateful bastards who wouldn't hesitate to pick the bones clean. More importantly, Grandfather Yang believed that Zhuo could elevate the Yang group to new heights. However, since Zhuo refused to accept the shares, Grandfather Yang temporarily set the idea aside and continued, Little miracle Dr. Yi, I feel that we are very compatible. I happen to have a granddaughter who is about your age. Why don't the two of you get married, and I'll acknowledge you as my god-granddaughter? What do you think? Get married? It was not a bad idea to gain influential connections. After all, one more friend meant one more path forward. Zhuo did not reject old Master Yang's suggestion. As long as Grandfather Yang doesn't dislike me. Why would I dislike you? Old Master Yang was very happy. Then from now on, Little miracle Dr. Yi, you will be my granddaughter. Taking Zhuo as their god-granddaughter was definitely a win for the Yang family. Zhuo was so young, yet her medical skills were exceptional. She was sure to achieve great things in the future. By then, those wanting to establish ties with her would likely form a line stretching from here to the capital. Grandfather Yang, there's no need to be so formal. You can just call me by my name in the future. Then I'll call you Zhuo, Grandfather Yang said. Yes. Zhuo nodded slightly. My family and friends all call me that. Then I'll follow Grandfather Yang's lead and bask in his glory. I'll call you Zhuo in the future, old Mrs. Song said with a smile. It's good that you like it, Grandma Song. I like it. How could I not like it? What elder wouldn't appreciate such a talented and skillful young lady? Old Mrs. Song almost wished she could have Zhuo stay at the Song family permanently. After the dinner, Song Shiyu asked the driver to take Zhuo home. Watching the black car disappear into the night, Song Shiyu turned to his assistant and said, Go and find out what happened to the Mu family recently and why Miss Mu's surname was Yi before she turned 18. Chapter 120. Sir, the assistant stepped forward. There's no need to investigate this matter. Song Shiyu turned to look at his assistant. You know about it? Such a major incident in the Mu family was known to the entire city. However, Song Shiyu was an exception. He had never liked to gossip, so he knew nothing about external matters. The assistant told Song Shiyu in detail about the Mu family carrying the wrong child. In the dark night, Song Shiyu pressed his temples, and the darkness covered the man's face with a mysterious veil. In other words, the Miss Mu from before was not the real Miss Mu. Yes, the assistant continued. The Miss Yi who came tonight is the Miss Mu from before. Miss Mu was not the real Miss Mu. Zhuo was the Miss Mu from before. It was obvious that he had not expected this. Song Shiyu narrowed his eyes and turned around to walk into the room. The assistant followed his footsteps. Song Shiyu took off his silver wristwatch and placed it casually on the table. He turned around to look at the assistant. You can get off work first. I'll call you if there's anything. All right. The assistant left the room. Song Shiyu went to the bathroom and prepared to take a shower. His white shirt was taken off, revealing the man's muscular chest. Under his 8-pack abs, there was a beautiful mermaid line. This figure was something that even a professional fitness trainer could not compare to. The only flaw was that the man's back was full of scars of all sizes. Though old, these scars were still very clear. There was a thin red rope hanging around his neck, and on the red rope was a peach pit for good fortune. However, this kind of peach pit was mostly worn by children under the age of 10. Perhaps due to the age, the peach pit had been polished until it was shiny. The red rope's color was not bright anymore, but it was clean. It had been half an hour since he came out of the bathroom after taking a shower. Song Shiyu was wearing a black silk nightgown, and his abdominal muscles were faintly discernible under the thin silk cloth. This was a scene that made one's blood boil. Although his hair was wet, Song Shiyu had no intention of using a hair dryer. He sat directly in front of the desk and began to draw. He had been injured when he was young, and as a result, his memory was also intermittent. Occasionally, he would suddenly recall a certain fragment, and he would need to record the flash of images through drawing. Soon, a piece of paper was filled with drawings. In a dark room, a thin and weak-looking youth was squatting in a corner. His eyes were empty, and his skin, which was exposed to the air, was covered with wounds of all sizes. A little girl was standing in front of him. She was bent over, as if she was talking to him. "Big brother, don't be afraid. It won't hurt if I help you." In this darkness, she was his only salvation. Song Shiyu stared at the drawing, and his eyes were filled with boundless viciousness. It was not until he took out the small peach pit hanging on his neck and rubbed it in his hands that most of the viciousness in his eyes disappeared. The next day, old Master Yang came to the Yi family with bags of gifts. Although Yizhuo had already agreed to the marriage proposal, this matter still had to be done through Yizhuo's parents. This was the most basic form of respect. After coming to the Yi family, old Master Yang found out that Yizhuo was from a single-parent family. There was only a mother and an uncle in the household. "Old Master Yang, please take a seat. The house is simple and crude. Please don't mind it." Yishu invited old Master Yang to sit down. Yisun quickly went to pour tea for old Master Yang. Old Master Yang smiled and said, "Mother Yi, what are you talking about? The house is so warm, how could I mind it?" These words were not against his heart. Although the Yi family's home was small, with only 3 bedrooms and 1 living room, it was very warm inside. One look and one could tell that the owner of the house was a good wife and mother. Although old Master Yang lived in a manor, it was only an ice-cold manor. There was no warmth in it at all. "Please have some tea." Yisun brought the brewed tea to old Master Yang. "Thank you." Old Master Yang picked up the tea and continued, "Why don't I see Zhuo?" Yishu said, "Zhuo went out for a run. She should be back soon." Old Master Yang nodded and then stated the purpose of this trip. Because Yizhuo had already told Yishu and Yisun about this when she came back last night, the two of them were not surprised at all. Yishu smiled and said, "Old Master Yang, our Zhuo has never had a grandfather since she was young. You wanting to be her god-grandfather means that you and she are fated. It's also our family's good fortune. As a mother, I'm more than happy." Chapter 121. Mother Yi, I'm relieved to hear that. It's my fortune to have a granddaughter like Zhuo. At first, Grandfather Yang was worried that Yishu would disagree. He didn't expect Yishu to be more reasonable than he had imagined. At noon, old Master Yang stayed at the Yi residence to eat. Yishu cooked a big table of food. Old Master Yang hadn't eaten such a homely meal for a long time. He ate 2 bowls of rice in one go. If it weren't for New Year's Eve tomorrow and having to rush back to the capital for the new year, he would have even wanted to stay for dinner at the Yi residence. The next day was New Year's Eve. This was the first New Year after Yizhuo returned to Yishu's side. Although there were only 3 people at home, the festive atmosphere was still very strong. Early in the morning, Yishu got up to prepare the New Year's Eve dinner. Yi-sen, on the other hand, went out to buy couplets. When Zhuo ran back, she saw Yi-sen squatting in the small garden in front of the house, installing small colored lights. Beside him were electric firecrackers and small lanterns. "Uncle, let me help you." Zhuo rolled up her sleeves and walked to Yi-sen's side. Yi-sen smiled and said, "You are just a little girl. How would you do such a job? Go back and wash your hands. It's time for breakfast." "Uncle, do you look down on me?" Zhuo raised her eyebrows slightly. "Why don't you try it?" Yi-sen handed the colored lights to Zhuo. Zhuo took the colorful lights and installed them on the wires one by one. Looking at the exposed copper wires, Zhuo didn't even frown during the whole process. "Sure." Yi-sen was a little surprised. Zhuo clapped her hands. "Of course. Why don't you see whose niece I am?" Yi-sen was coaxed until he was beaming with joy. "Zhuo, tell your uncle to come back for dinner." Yishu's voice came from inside. "Got it," Zhuo replied. "Uncle, let's go back for dinner." Yi-sen nodded. They were having a good time here, but the Lin family, which was thousands of miles away, did not have such a good atmosphere. At the dining table, old lady Lin looked at the father and son who were eating. "I plan to have Qianhua and Xianxian come to our house for a reunion dinner tonight." Old Mrs. Lin had 5 sons, but the other 4 were not around. They would not bring their wives and children to the old house until the first day of the new year. Therefore, there were only 3 people in the old house every year during the new year. Old Mrs. Lin was old, and Lin Jincheng and Lin Zhe were dull. As a result, the entire Lin family did not have any sense of the new year. On the other hand, old lady Lin also wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to let the father and son feel the warmth of a new home. With Feng Qianhua and Feng Xianxian, the family would also have some warmth. "This is against the rules." Lin Jincheng put down his chopsticks. "What's against the rules?" Old lady Lin frowned. Lin Jincheng frowned. After all, the mother and daughter are outsiders. Old Madam Lin also put down her chopsticks. "If you marry again, won't your wife be an outsider?" So, Lin Jincheng's face was expressionless. "I have no intention of marrying again." Old Madam Lin's face darkened. "It's the new year. Do you really want to piss me off?" Lin Jincheng did not say anything. Lin Zhe did not say anything either. The father and son were unusually quiet. At this time, old Mrs. Lin couldn't help but think of Feng Xianxian. If it was Feng Xianxian, she would definitely open her mouth to persuade Lin Jincheng. Feng Xianxian was a very obedient and sensible girl. Feng Qianhua taught her very well. A child with a mother was different from a child without a mother. It was fine if Yishu didn't fulfill her responsibilities as a mother for a day, but Lin Zhe still had her in his heart. At this moment, the sound of a phone call rang in the air. Lin Zhe walked to the living room to answer the call. It was Li Wen. "Hello, Brother Zhe. Go ahead." Li Wen continued, "We found out about the candy wrappers. They were made in Yunjing. If the candy wrappers were left behind by your mother, she should be in Yunjing right now." Chapter 122. Lin Zhe held his phone tightly as Li Wen's words echoed in his mind. It was hard to tell whether his expression was sad or happy. Seeing that there was no reply, Li Wen asked curiously, "Hello? Brother Zhe, are you listening?" There was still no reply. "Brother Zhe?" Just as Li Wen was wondering if his phone was broken, Lin Zhe's voice finally came from the other end. "Are you sure it's in Yunjing?" Perhaps even Lin Zhe himself did not expect that his voice was trembling when he said this. It had been 18 years. This was the first time he had heard news about his birth mother. To Lin Zhe, there was no better New Year's gift than this. "Yes, Brother Zhe." Li Wen continued, "Brother Zhao found the address of the factory and confirmed that it's from Yunjing." "Mosquito." "Yeah. Lin Zhe looked up at the sky and a smile slowly appeared on his lips. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Brother Zhe. Li Wen continued, Brother Zhe, do you want to come out early in the morning to set off fireworks? Okay. After hanging up, Lin Zhe went to the restaurant. Old Mrs. Lin looked up at Lin Zhe. Who was that? It was a classmate, Lin Zhe answered. That dog too? Lin Zhe didn't say anything. Old Mrs. Lin thought that Lin Zhe had tacitly agreed. How many times have I told you? You and dog too are not on the same team. Why won't you listen? Mom, Zhe has his own circle of friends. You'd better not interfere, Lin Jincheng said indifferently. What? Old Mrs. Lin glanced at Lin Jincheng. Now I don't even have the right to care about my own grandson? I didn't mean that, Lin Jincheng continued. But Zhe has grown up now. He knows what kind of friends he should make and what kind of friends he shouldn't. If I don't do anything, will I let Zhe learn from you? Old Mrs. Lin suppressed her anger. It's New Year's Eve today. I don't want to argue with you. After saying that, old Mrs. Lin looked at Lin Zhe. Zhe, I asked your Aunt Feng to come to our house for the reunion dinner. What do you think? There were 3 people in the house. As long as Lin Zhe agreed to let Feng Qianhua come, Lin Jincheng had nothing to say. Grandma, I don't like Auntie Feng. Lin Zhe sat down. I don't want her to be my mother, and I don't want her to come over to our house for the new year. This was the first time Lin Zhe had voiced his thoughts in front of old Madam Lin and Lin Jincheng. Pa! Old Madam Lin slammed the table and stood up. The anger that she was holding back exploded in an instant. You two, father and son, one after the other, are you trying to piss me off to death? Old Madam Lin didn't want to get angry during the new year, but she could not help it. Feng Qianhua was so good, 1,000 times better than that bitchy Shu, 10,000 times better. How could she not be worthy of Lin Jincheng? Cough, cough, cough. After getting angry, old Mrs. Lin clutched her chest and started coughing violently. Old madam, are you all right? Aunt Zhang quickly came over to help old Mrs. Lin calm down. Jincheng, young master, old madam's health is not good to begin with. Why do you have to make her angry during the new year? Aunt Zhang sighed. She continued, although I am only a servant of the Lin family, there is one thing I must say. Miss Qianhua has sacrificed too much for this family and for the old madam. If not for Miss Qianhua giving the old madam health soup day after day, would the old madam be where she is now? Even her biological children could not be so considerate, but Miss Qianhua has done it. Even the coldest stone will be warmed, let alone the hearts of people. These words were accusing Lin Jincheng and Lin Zhe of having no heart. Anyone with eyes could see what Feng Qianhua had done for the Lin family all these years. But only Lin Jincheng and Lin Zhe could not see it. Aunt Zhang had worked for the Lin family for nearly 20 years and had always been by Old Lady Lin's side. With Old Lady Lin's support, she was not afraid of offending Lin Jincheng and his son with her words. And Aunt Zhang's words had indeed touched Old Lady Lin's heart. Feng Qianhua was so good and had given so much over the years. But the father and son turned a blind eye to it. They had no conscience at all. Now even Aunt Zhang, an outsider, knew to stand up for Feng Qianhua. Mom, don't be angry. Lin Jincheng raised his head to look at Old Lady Lin. I can promise you anything else, but I can't do this. I told you a long time ago that it's impossible between Qianhua and me. Chapter 123. Seeing his father's attitude, Lin Zhe heaved a sigh of relief. If his father showed even the slightest sign of weakness, his grandmother would probably be able to arrange for Feng Qianhua to marry in tomorrow. Old Mrs. Lin was so angry that she did not eat breakfast. She let Aunt Zhang carry her back to her room to rest. Lin Jincheng instructed the servants to brew the medicine. They returned to their room. Aunt Zhang comforted Old Lady Lin, Old Lady, it's the new year. Don't be too angry. Miss Qianhua is so nice. Sooner or later, she will be accepted by Jincheng and the young master. Old Lady Lin sat on the sofa. I'm old and useless. My words are useless. Actually, Jincheng used to listen to you, Aunt Zhang said. Hearing this, old lady Lin fell into deep thought. When did Lin Jincheng start to rebel? Before the age of 18, Lin Jincheng would do whatever she said. Probably after knowing Yi Shu, Lin Jincheng seemed to have changed, disobeying her everywhere. Yi Shu. It was all Yi Shu. That fickle bitch, Yi Shu, was simply the jinx of the Lin family. If not for Yi Shu, she and Lin Jincheng would not have come to this point. Family tragedy. A real family tragedy. Old lady Lin pounded her chest in pain. Aunt Zhang continued, "Old lady, please don't think like this. Miss Qianhua is virtuous and capable. After she marries into the family, your relationship with Jincheng and the young master will definitely be much better. If it were up to me, this family would be fine without anything except a proper mistress." Old Madam Lin nodded. "You're right." It seemed that she had thought of a way to get Feng Qianhua to marry into the family as soon as possible. On the other side, the Feng family. The Feng family was a large family. Feng Qianhua had 4 older brothers. Currently, all 4 older brothers lived with their parents. Including Feng Qianhua's mother, daughter, and grandchildren, there were more than 30 people in the large family. Fortunately, the Feng family's 3-story villa had 5 floors. Otherwise, it would not be enough to live in. Feng Qianhua was a divorced woman with a burden. If it were not for the Lin family, she would have been kicked out long ago. Even with the support of the Lin family, the sisters-in-law would still give her a hard time. Just like now. Third sister-in-law Ding Xuemin smiled and said, "Qianhua, you and Lin Jincheng have been together for so many years. It's almost the new year, and you're going to be 1 year older." He didn't mention anything about it. When will he give you an explanation? We sisters-in-law will also bask in the glory and drink your wedding wine. Second sister-in-law Qing Fengqin continued, "Third sister-in-law is right. Qianhua, you're not young anymore. You can't drag this on any longer. If you drag this on any longer, you'll turn into a leftover woman. If Lin Jincheng is really unwilling to give you an explanation, the boss Shen that I told you about last time is also not bad." Who was Boss Shen? Boss Shen was a nouveau riche from Beijing. Not only was he illiterate and ugly, but he also had a special hobby. 5 of his wives had divorced him, and one of them jumped from the 11th floor because she couldn't stand the humiliation. She was still lying in the hospital and hadn't woken up yet. Feng Qianhua held back the anger in her heart and looked up at her 2 sisters-in-law. "Thank you for your concern, third sister-in-law and fourth sister-in-law. I have a good relationship with Jincheng. The reason why we haven't registered our marriage is because I have to take into account the feelings of the 2 children. Oh, by the way, please tell Mom and Dad that I won't be eating at home tonight." With that, Feng Qianhua got up and was about to leave. Qing Fengqin asked in puzzlement, "It's the new year. Where are you going?" Ding Xuemin was also very curious. Feng Qianhua smiled and said, "Tonight, I'm bringing Xianxian to Jincheng's place for the new year." Old Lady Lin had told her long ago that she was going to the Lin family for the new year. Hearing that, everyone in the room was stunned. It had been so many years. This was the first time Feng Qianhua was going to the Lin family for the new year. Could it be that she was really going to succeed? Really? Qing Fengqin was a little doubtful. Others didn't know, but she knew very well. It had been so many years, but Lin Jincheng had never taken a liking to Feng Qianhua. All this time, it had been the wishful thinking of Feng Qianhua and old lady Lin. Otherwise, Qing Fengqin wouldn't have introduced Boss Shen to Feng Qianhua. Look at what second sister-in-law said. Would I use such a thing to deceive people? Feng Qianhua's smile hit a knife. Her family members were all smiling tigers. They both hoped that she could marry Lin Jincheng and lead the Feng family to a new peak. They were also afraid that she would marry into the Lin family and become the matriarch of the Lin family. They wanted the horses to run and they also wanted the horses to not eat grass. Chapter 124. How laughable. Qing Fengqin pursed her lips and put on a fake smile. Plans can't keep up with changes. There are some things you shouldn't say too early. second sister-in-law is right. I'm just afraid that some people will end up wasting 18 years of their youth in vain. Ding Xuemin replied sarcastically. Feng Qianhua's expression changed, but she was sneering in her heart. Just wait. The day she sat on the Lin family's mistress's throne, she would make these bitches regret their actions today. At this moment, old Madame Feng came down from upstairs. When she heard her two daughters-in-law's sarcasm towards Feng Qianhua, she did not stop them. She looked up at Feng Qianhua. Your two sisters-in-law are right. A woman cannot waste another 18 years. I think Boss Shen is indeed not bad. He will not mistreat you and Xian Xian. After saying that, old Madame Feng continued, although Boss Shen doesn't look as good as you think, he is rich and powerful. I heard that the new high-ranking official is a relative of his family. After pausing, she said earnestly, don't delay yourself for a man who doesn't have you in his heart. I'm your mother. I won't harm you. Hearing this, Feng Qianhua's eyes revealed a hint of mockery. She had always been a shrewd mother. Even when half of her body was about to be buried, she still didn't forget to pave a bridge and build a road for her 4 sons. Who would benefit the most from her marrying Boss Shen? The Feng family, of course. She really thought she was so gullible. In order to marry Lin Jincheng, she had waited 18 years. How could she give up just like that? Compared to Lin Jincheng, Boss Shen was nothing. He couldn't even compare to one of Lin Jincheng's little fingers. Feng Qianhua said, Mom, I know you won't harm me, but I have no interest in Boss Shen. In the future, don't say such things anymore. By the way, have you seen Xian Xian? Mom, are you looking for me? Feng Xian Xian and her cousins walked in from outside. Feng Qianhua nodded. Tonight, we're going to your Uncle Lin's house for the new year. You should go and make some preparations. Really? Feng Xianxian's eyes lit up. Feng Xianxian was very eager to see Feng Qianhua and Lin Jincheng succeed. Compared to being a cousin in the Feng family, she wanted to be the legitimate eldest daughter of the Lin family. The Lin family and the Tsin family were close friends. At that time, she would be able to get to know 5th Master Tsin and become Madame Tsin. Feng Qianhua nodded. Quickly go and clean up. I'll go right away. Feng Xianxian quickly ran into the house. Old Madame Feng looked at Feng Qianhua thoughtfully and said, I still have a bottle of authentic 100-flower nectar here. Chower brought it back from the mountains last time. You can bring it to old Madame Lin later. Feng Qianhua curled her lips. Then I'll thank you on behalf of Aunt Lin. Old Madame Feng instructed the servants to get the 100-flower nectar. Not long after, Feng Xianxian came out after changing her clothes. At this moment, Feng Qianhua's phone rang. When she picked up the phone, Feng Qianhua's expression obviously changed, but it quickly returned to normal. She hung up the phone with a smile and waved at Feng Xianxian. Xian Xian, your Grandma Lin called to urge us. Let's go over quickly. Okay. Feng Xianxian nodded. Feng Qianhua told old Madame Feng to take care of herself and, ignoring the expressions of the others in the room, directly took Feng Xianxian away. TCH. What's there to be so proud of? Cheng Fengqin snorted coldly. Ding Xuemin also couldn't stand this annoying sister-in-law. That's right. Who doesn't know that Lin Jincheng doesn't like her at all? Both of you, shut up. Old Madame Feng said in a deep voice, when she marries into the Lin family, there will be benefits for both of you. Don't you even know how to put on an act? You have such shallow vision. The air instantly became quiet. Cheng Fengqin and Ding Xuemin looked at each other, not daring to say anything more. After walking out of the Feng family's villa, the expression on Feng Qianhua's face changed from sunny to cloudy. She went online to book a car and left the villa area. Feng Xianxian asked curiously, why didn't Grandma Lin send a car to pick us up? Feng Qianhua kept a straight face and didn't say anything. Feng Xianxian was especially good at reading Feng Qianhua's expression. When she saw this, she immediately sat up straight and looked straight ahead, not daring to say anything else. Feng Qianhua was very strict with Feng Xianxian. Her posture had to be perfect whether standing or sitting. She had to be proficient in all kinds of music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. Feng Xianxian hardly had a childhood because she spent it in various training classes. Even now, Feng Qianhua was still very strict with Feng Xianxian. Chapter 125. You must get first place in every exam. If you don't get first place, you will be subjected to cold violence and corporal punishment by Feng Qianhua. Fortunately, Feng Xianxian herself did well and never let Feng Qianhua down. Soon, the car arrived at the destination. This was a hotel in Beijing. Feng Xianxian was stunned again. Didn't they say they were going to the Lin family? Feng Xianxian looked at Feng Qianhua. Mom, did we come to the wrong place? Feng Qianhua continued, your grandma Lin has something on today, so we won't be going to her house for the new year. Oh. Feng Xianxian was very disappointed, but she didn't ask further. Yunjing. This year's Yi family was very lively. The television in the living room was broadcasting a New Year's program. Yi Sun and Yi Zhuo were busy pasting couplets and window decorations. At this moment, Yi Shu's voice came from the kitchen. Zhuo, the vinegar at home is gone. Go to the supermarket outside and buy a bottle. Okay. Yi Zhuo put down the couplet in her hand and replied, I'll go now. She took her cell phone and casually put on her coat. Then, Yi Zhuo rushed out of the door. The supermarket was just outside the neighborhood. Yi Shu was waiting to use vinegar, so Yi Zhuo jogged all the way. Unexpectedly, she bumped into a passerby at the corner in front of her. The vinegar bottle slipped out of her hand. Pa! The glass bottle shattered. In an instant, the fragrance of vinegar filled the air. I'm sorry, are you okay? Yi Zhuo hurriedly apologized. I'm fine. The man patted the dust off his black windbreaker. This voice seemed a little familiar. Yi Zhuo looked up. It was Song Shiyu. Mr. Song. Song Shiyu did not expect that the person who bumped into him was Yi Zhuo. Miss Yi, I'm sorry. I spilled your vinegar. It's fine. It's not your fault. I didn't watch where I was going. I'll go buy another bottle. Yi Zhuo did not immediately go back to buy vinegar. Instead, she squatted down, picked up the pieces on the ground, and threw them into the trash can. She did not want to hurt the passers-by. Song Shiyu also squatted down and helped Yi Zhuo pick up the pieces. The two good-looking hands picked up the same piece of debris out of the blue. Their fingertips touched. It was like a tiny electric current. Both of them were stunned. Yi Zhuo did not feel awkward. She directly let go of the hand holding the broken glass and picked up another piece of debris. There was no special expression on Song Shiyu's face. It was as if nothing had happened. After picking up all the pieces, Yi Zhuo went back to the supermarket to buy vinegar. However, when she was paying, Song Shiyu beat her to it. Mr. Song, you're too polite. I can do it myself. Song Shiyu smiled faintly. It's just a bottle of vinegar. Miss Yi, you don't have to be polite with me. Then I won't be polite. Yi Zhuo waved the vinegar in her hand and pointed in a direction. My house is just over there. Mr. Song, if you have time, come and play. Today is New Year's Eve, so I'll invite you in for tea. Okay. Song Shiyu nodded slightly. Then I'll go back first. My mother is still waiting for the vinegar to cook. Take care, Miss Yi. After saying that, Song Shiyu seemed to have thought of something. He pointed at Yi Zhuo's arm and said, your sleeve seems to be drenched in vinegar. I have a handkerchief here. Do you want to roll up your sleeve and wipe it? It's okay. Yi Zhuo said indifferently, I'll just go home and change into another one. Goodbye, Mr. Song. Goodbye. Song Shiyu nodded slightly. After Yi Zhuo turned around, a look of disappointment flashed in his eyes. It was fleeting. At this moment, a luxury car stopped by the roadside. The car door opened and the driver walked out. He bowed respectfully to Song Shiyu. Boss. Song Shiyu got into the car. The winter sunlight cast a layer of coldness on his face. Let's go back. The driver also got into the car. The car sped along and soon arrived at the Song family estate. The moment the car stopped, the assistant walked over and opened the car door. Check all the information on Yizhuo and Mu Yorong. Send it to my study later. Okay. The assistant nodded. And photos. Song Shiyu added, in the summer, preferably full-body photos. The assistant nodded. After Yizhuo went home, she couldn't wait to take a shower. Her arm was drenched in vinegar. It was sour. It smelled a little bad. After taking a shower and coming out of the bathroom, Yizhuo went to blow-dry her hair. She rolled up her sleeves to her elbow. Her skin was very white, and her wrist was very thin. She could be held with just one hand. Near her elbow, there was a very obvious bite mark. The color was pale, but because of her white skin, it was obvious. Chapter 126. Zhuo, what's going on here? Yi Sen's eyes were sharp, and he immediately saw the abnormality on Yizhuo's arm. It's been there since I was very young. I think it was bitten by a child I played with. Yizhuo was also a little curious about this bite mark, because in her previous life, she had an identical bite mark on her elbow. She didn't expect the original owner to have the same bite mark. Could it be a coincidence? Yi Sen frowned. Bitten? Which child is so disobedient? Does it hurt? Yizhuo smiled and said, it hurt a little at that time, but it doesn't hurt anymore now. In the blink of an eye, it was night time. The family of three sat together for the New Year's Eve dinner. The Spring Festival Gala was on the TV. Yishu cooked a lot of dishes tonight. There was hot pot and all kinds of chicken, duck, and fish. Yi Sen stood up with his cup in his hand. Sister, this is the first New Year since we came back. It's also the first New Year for us to have a new life. I wish that our days in the future will be more prosperous. Cheers! Cheers! Yishu and Yizhuo also stood up with their cups in their hands. At this moment, colorful fireworks were reflected outside the window. The deafening sound of fireworks could be heard in the air. Looking at the fireworks outside the window, Yizhuo's lips curled into a faint smile. Mom, Uncle, after dinner, shall we go and set off some fireworks too? Sure. Yi Sen nodded. Yishu smiled and said, you two can go. I won't go. Tomorrow morning was the first day of the Lunar New Year. Yishu still had a lot of things to do. After saying that, Yishu took out a red packet and gave it to Yizhuo. Zhuo, this is your New Year's money. Mom wishes you to top the gold list in the college entrance examination next year. Thank you, Mom. Yizhuo was stunned for a moment and took the red packet with both hands. And Uncle's too. Yi Sen also gave Yizhuo a red packet. Your mom has already wished you the best for the exam. Then I wish my niece at 18 years old to be as beautiful as a flower. Thank you, Uncle. Yizhuo never knew that being able to receive New Year's money was such a blessing. It was so good to have a family. After the New Year's Eve dinner, Yizhuo and Yi Sen went outside to set off fireworks. There was a lot of noise outside, accompanied by the sound of fireworks. It was especially lively. Yi Sen picked up a firework. Eldest niece, do you dare to light this sky rocket? What's there to be afraid of? Yizhuo's eyes were indifferent. I've even lit a bomb. Stop bragging. Yi Sen did not take Yizhuo's words to heart. Yizhuo also did not explain. She took the sky rocket and lit it. Bayu, bang! The sky rocket rushed out in an instant and exploded in the sky. Throughout the entire process, Yizhuo did not even close her eyes or cover her ears. She was extremely calm. She did not seem like a little girl at all. Yi Sen was stunned. His niece seemed to be a little tiger. Light that big firework. Yi Sen pointed at the big firework beside him. Okay. Yizhuo made an okay gesture and squatted down to light the firework. Yi Sen had specially bought this firework. It was said to be the heavenly maiden scattering flowers type, and it was very beautiful. The fuse was lit and a firework shell shot out. But after a long time, there were no fireworks. Yisun frowned slightly. Could it be that the seller lied to him? Just as Zhuo turned around, countless fireworks bloomed from behind her. Bang! The sky was filled with dazzling fireworks, outlining Zhuo's clear silhouette. Yisun quickly picked up his phone and recorded this beautiful moment. His eldest niece was simply too beautiful. Yisun's editor posted on his WeChat moments, showing off, "This is my eldest niece." At the same time, Zhuo's phone rang. Zhuo took out her phone from her pocket. It was a WeChat message. The first to send WeChat messages were Enlizi and Zhao Pingting, then it was Lin Xia. Zhuo sent a video of herself setting off fireworks to the three of them, and then she sent each of them a lucky money red packet. Because it felt good to receive lucky money, Zhuo wanted to pass on this happiness. After replying to the messages from the three of them, Zhuo received another message of blessing. Happy New Year. It was from Sun Xiaoqing. This was probably the first time the two of them had exchanged messages since adding WeChat. Zhuo also sent a Happy New Year message. She also sent a red packet with the remark, "Lucky money." Sun Xiaoqing on the other end of the screen was stunned. He had grown up. This was the first time someone had given him New Year's money apart from his parents and family. Moreover, regarding this thing called New Year's money, he had not received it since he was 18 years old. He opened the red envelope. The money was not much, only 88 yuan. Sun Xiaoqing also sent a red envelope with the caption, "Returning the favor." Chapter 127. Zhuo opened the red packet. 188 yuan. It was 100 yuan more than her own. Zhuo curled her lips slightly. It was said that capitalists were stingy, but it seemed that Sun Xiaoqing was a different kind of person. "Thank you, boss." "Dog head." "You're welcome." "What is Miss Yi doing?" "Setting off fireworks." "Dog head," Zhuo replied and sent a video over. It was quite lively on her side. Sun Xiaoqing looked at the cold desk in front of him and walked to the French window. It was forbidden to set off fireworks in the capital. It was very quiet on New Year's Eve night, no different from normal times. Sun Xiaoqing took a photo with his phone. "Are you in the capital?" "Yes. I'll be back the day after tomorrow morning." Sun Xiaoqing was stunned as soon as this message was sent out. Why did he have to report his schedule to Zhuo? "Have a safe trip." "Thank you." After Zhuo finished setting off the fireworks, she went home and started the live broadcast. As soon as the live broadcast started, she received an invitation to PvP from laid-back layman. Zhuo slightly raised her eyebrows. This laid-back layman was really not simple. He had lost countless times, yet he was still so indomitable. On the other side, Lin Zhe and his friends came to the agreed place to set off fireworks. For young men, they brought a lot of fireworks. "Brother Zhe, Happy New Year." "Happy New Year." The four of them lit the fireworks and sat to the side to chat. "Brother Zhe, now that we've confirmed that your mother is in Yunjing, what do you plan to do?" Li Wen asked. Hearing this, the other two turned to look at Lin Zhe. "Go look for her." "Are you going alone?" Fat Tiger asked. Lin Zhe nodded. "But Yunjing is thousands of kilometers away from us. Besides, Yunjing is a big city and we don't know anything. Where are you going to look for her?" It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Lin Zhe continued, "I've checked. Yunjing is a municipality directly under the central government. There are 20 districts, including 10 in the central area, with a population of 31.26 million. Among them, there are 12 million migrants. I'll look for her bit by bit. Even if I can't find her this year or next year, I can wait until the year after next or the one after that until I find her." Perhaps no one could understand the psychology of a child who had never even met his mother. In short, before he found his mother, he would never give up his search. Hearing this, the other three looked at Lin Zhe in surprise. Li Wen continued, but what if your mother had already married someone else and forgotten about you? It had been 18 years. The world had changed. Who knew what had happened after such a long time? Then I'll take a look from afar and not disturb her. Just a look. Even if he didn't say anything. What if your mother had already moved out of Yunjing? Lin Zhe was stunned. It was obvious that he hadn't thought about this question. After a long while, Lin Zhe said, that might be my fate. But before I go to Yunjing, I will never accept my fate. Brother Zhe, Li Wen patted Lin Zhe's shoulder, I believe that you will definitely find your mother. I believe it too. Dog 2 said. And me. Fat Tiger continued, oh right, Brother Zhe, I have a relative in Yunjing. I can ask her to help me find out more information about Auntie. Oh right, do you know anything else about Auntie? For example, her appearance. Is there anything special about her? Lin Zhe shook his head. It's okay. Fat Tiger patted Lin Zhe's shoulder and comforted him, Brother Zhe, my relative is quite powerful in Yunjing. Even if you don't know anything, I can ask her to keep an eye out for you. Thank you, Fat Tiger. Fat Tiger's face turned red. What's there to thank? We're all brothers. Li Wen continued, when do you plan to go to Cloud Capital? Our school starts on the 15th of the first lunar month. I plan to fly there on the 8th day of the first lunar month. Li Wen nodded. At the same time. At the Mu residence. At the reunion dinner table, Big Soldier Mu looked at Mu Yorong and said doubtfully, Yorong, the last time I asked you to look for Elder Yang, you didn't go find him. There hasn't been any movement since. Tell me, did he forget about you, his life savior? Soldier Mu had even prepared a banquet to celebrate. Now, he was just waiting for old Master Yang to come and thank him. At that time, his daughter would be old Master Yang's life-saving benefactor, and he would also be able to bask in the glory. At the mention of this matter, Mu Yorong would die of anger. If it weren't for Yizhua interfering and stealing the credit that should have belonged to her, would she have ended up like this? The live broadcast couldn't be started, and she didn't know how to play chess. She even became the laughing stock of the entire internet. Old Mr. Yang shouldn't be coming again, Mu Yorong said. Why? Soldier Mu's expression changed. Mu Yorong continued, This matter can't be explained in a short amount of time. Father, please don't ask any more. Seeing Mu Yorong like this, Soldier Mu couldn't ask further. This daughter of his had always had many thoughts. Perhaps she had other plans. After eating, she returned to her room. Mu Yorong received many New Year greetings. Among them were Lin Xian and Lin Shui. These two sisters of the Lin family were all about climbing up and trampling on others. In the past, when she was still with Yi Shu, the two of them had never looked her in the eye. Occasionally, they would speak to her in a mocking tone. Ever since they found out that she was the eldest daughter of the Mu family, the two of them had become extremely attentive. They called her sister one after another, calling her affectionately. Mu Yorong narrowed her eyes and suddenly thought of Yi Dafu and Yao Zuifan. If these two knew that Yi Shu had not only opened a restaurant, but that their granddaughter, Yizhua, was also a live streamer celebrity, how would the two of them react? Didn't Yizhua like to cause trouble for her? Steal her things? Then she would let Yizhua not only meet that scumbag Song Shiyu, but also send Yizhua a few more shameless, top-tier relatives. She would make Yizhua sick to death. Once she was pestered by those top-tier relatives, even if Yizhua had 3 heads and 6 arms, there was nothing she could do. With this thought in mind, Mu Yorong curled the corners of her lips and replied to Lin Xian. Happy New Year, big cousin. Lin Xian did not expect Mu Yorong to reply to her and even call her big cousin. She was stunned for a moment before replying. Mu Yorong then sent a message, long time no see, big cousin, do you have time to come out? Lin Xian, okay. Mu Yorong, it's better to choose a different day. Do you have time tomorrow afternoon? Lin Xian, yes. The first day of the new year. Early in the morning, Yisun got up and prepared to visit friends after breakfast. Yisun took out 2 pairs of pants and walked to Yizhua's door. He asked, "Eldest niece, do you think I look younger in these pants? Is it this dark blue one or this light black one?" Yizhua looked at Yisun and seriously considered it for 2 seconds. "Uncle, are you sure you want me to tell the truth?" Yisun nodded. Yizhua continued, "I think you look younger in diapers."